Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Apollo here in Hammersmith for another showcase of the finest in stand-up talent. We hope you're going to have a fantastic time. My name is Dara Briain. Most of the time, obviously, I'm a touring comedian, and that has, because of shows like this, become a very international affair. This show will be seen all over the world, like whatever. And because of that, we can often do our little jokes all over the world, like whatever. There was literally a period when I was doing a tour before the one I'm on the moment, where the gigs I had in order were Plymouth, Dubai, Oslo. Other than what to pack, it's a kind of a head-wrecking week to have in your working life, right? And like, it's not that the show ever changes, because people are people, your show becomes quite universal. Like, what changes is the stuff around the show, right? For example, Dubai, obviously culturally enormously different to this part of the world, like whatever. And Dubai is the only place where the producers of the show were contacted, they told me this, were contacted by the police, by the state authority, by the licensing board, and in their words, to find out that the show was suitable for public performance in that particular state. Now, I obviously got really kind of, oh, how dare they? How dare they impose on my truth? How dare they censor me in any way, right? And the guys went, yeah, calm down. They asked one question, which was, does the show contain sexy movement? Now, the only question asked by the state police of Dubai, right? And obviously, you've known my work for many years. You'll know it's pretty much wall-to-wall, sexy movement. Which is ironic, really, because when you have sex with me, I don't move at all. It's very much your time to shine. But there is a joy, there's a specific joy of then coming back here, often specifically this room, but to come back here and do the show back in London. I've been living in London for about 15, 16 years now, and I love the city, right? And I love the city for many reasons. So to all of the Londoners here, right? I love the city, particularly because how it reacts to adversity. And this might sound serious for a couple of minutes, but every so often London faces something very, very serious, and London has a reaction ready to it, and I find it very, very ennobling and very, very inspiring, right? For example, last summer, there were a series of terror attacks. People driving cars into crowds and people being killed. It was an awful time. It was a very tense time, I remember. But London, as you will all know here, right, has a response ready. And we've heard that response many, many times, and it's an excellent response, because somebody will come out and go, London will not be cowed by this. London will not be driven down with this. London will rise above this. London will endure, right? London, as it did during the Blitz, as it did during the Troubles, as it did in 2005, London will not be broken by these kind of actions. It's a lovely speech, and you go, that is amazing, right? But obviously, as many of you know, that's a great thing, the speech, but the speech floats up here, right? It's not, as you're walking around, it's less help, I suppose. And I suppose many of us remember you walk into a crowded area, King's Cross or whatever, and you're suddenly going, this is suddenly really different now. I'm now making decisions based on this. It suddenly feels like a target or a crowd. It was a weird time to be around, like whatever. I don't know if I want to pass through Euston Station or one of the big places, or you'd be going, oh, have we got a works outing next week? What are we supposed to be doing? Oh, we're going to Les Mis. I don't know. Les Mis is a big public event. There'll be crowds at it. Imagine if it's a target. Imagine if there's a terror attack at Les Mis. Jesus, imagine dying at Les Mis. That is the worst thing you can possibly imagine. Gee, do you know, at your funeral there'll be somebody going, da, 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 slowly rotating on your coffin, and then they put a statue up in the West End of you when you're one of the Les Mis 7 for the rest of time. No, right? But the bit that made it weird and made it not feel like London is because people ran when those attacks occurred to Fox News in America to tell them how terrible things were in London. And this city got really insulted in a kind of a, what? Oh, London is reeling, they said. London is in a terrible situation. It's awful, like whatever. By the way, this is an interview you could do at any time in London. How are things in London today? People are tense and people are angry. And the transport is in chaos. Is this because of the terror attack? There's been a terror attack. I didn't even know there was a terror attack. Jesus, it's a Tuesday. I didn't want to get to work. You're in my way. Right? But they would go and they would say things like, oh, parts of London. I mean the worst of people, the kind of people who run to Fox News to capitalize on this kind of thing, for their own political benefit, would run to and go, oh, there are areas of London under Sharia law. Do you remember that suddenly appearing? And we're all going, what parts of London are under Sharia law? Show me on a map the bits of London, right? But obviously, it doesn't matter how it reaches you. The lads on Fox News were delighted to hear this. They're going, oh, tell me about the Sharia law. Tell me about the Sharia law. I didn't do that bit in Dubai. And then my total favourite of all these things would go, there are areas of London which are no-go areas for ordinary Londoners. And you can hear the racist dog whistle going off furiously, but ordinary Londoners, there are parts of London that ordinarers won't even go into. Do you remember that thing? And you're going, what part of London is there that ordinary London? There's no part. For the record, there is no part of London that ordinary Londoners, there is one place in London that ordinary, and it's just outside Leicester Square, it's called the M&M store, right? No one from London has ever gone into that. We all walk past it going, what is this thing? How are they sustaining it for 4 stories? What is going on here? I have occasionally opened the door and gone, this is not a thing, and then closed it down again. Simply saying it's a thing doesn't make it a thing, and then close the door again. You are sixth on a list that includes Smarties, Maltesers, Minstrels, Revels, Puppets, and then maybe you. Shut it down. Close the door again. And I genuinely feel this weird carbuncle, this weird American corporate excess, all bright and gaudy, is an insult to your British values, lads. You have to reassert British values in that part of London. You have to take back that part of London with a big, grim-looking grey building just next to it, and big surly-looking bouncers snarling down onto families going, what do you want? And families going, we've come for the Revels experience. Get in. And there's just one door to a lift, and there's no buttons in the lift. It just rises and randomly stops at some floor that you don't get to choose. And then a voice goes, ding, coffee, and you go, no. See, London for me is summed up far more by an experience I had in Wembley at a football match. I follow a team who play here, they play in red, and last year we were playing a semi-final of a cup tournament against a team from Manchester who play in blue. I have not disguised that in any way well. Let's just get over that, right? But the point is, because of the random seating allocation when you go to a match like this, like it's a one-off, so they just drop the seats and bang, 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 bang. I and my friends found ourselves sitting for this match far closer to the bit where the red stops and the blue starts. I mean, like 6 seats away from the junction between red and blue. And I don't normally watch the game in that part of the stadium. Let me tell you, it was, there's an energy in that part of the room. There is an exchange of ideas. It's like Paris in the 1890s. It's like Vienna at the time of Freud. It's like, you say this, but I say that. How interesting. At one stage, they all stood up because they thought they'd scored a goal. But actually, they'd hit the side netting, so they all had to sit back down again. So we were sympathizing with them about that. Oh, commiserations, Corinthian spirit, touche, better luck next time, bravo, lol, sad-faced. When a man over our shoulder launched into a soliloquy of sustained bile, of such fluent hatred, it was genuinely a privilege to be in his company. It was as if the whole room, Wembley, went quiet to hear this man from a seated position take on 30,000 people and with one voice go, sit down, you northern mugs. You're in the capital now. Behave, you cocks. And we broke our hose laughing at this, right? And then turned to your man to go, bravo. And this bloke is in his chair taking the praise from all the people around him for this rant, and then spots me, recognizes me, and goes, you can have that. And I have. But anyway, sorry, the strands that go through, well, base, as you can see from this, are touring gigs and all that, and a general nerdiness about stuff like whatever. And that is the thing that I don't think I'm in any danger of shaking soon. I get very excited about new technology appearing into people's lives and the options of what we can do about it. For example, Alexa, or these kind of always-on speakers, I find that very exciting. Now, I know that people have issues with them in terms of privacy and in terms of having this thing on in your house. I got very excited about Alexa and these kind of things because I had this weird kind of male fantasy that it would make, romance in a very smooth way. That you'd walk in with a lady on your arm and you go, Alexa, play some Prince. And then the music would just start and the mood would be set in a really smooth way. Now, obviously, the reality of voice recognition software and AI is you're far more likely to go, Alexa, play some Prince. And Alexa will go, printing documents now. And then you have to fuck to the incessant rhythm of the printer. And that is incredibly difficult to maintain. I'm not a young man anymore, lads. I can do 4 or 5 minutes tops of that before I'm praying for a paper jam or any kind of thing. I love the idea of these things that you'd have in your phone, that you could control all the things in your house. In fact, I had this weird little idea that over the course of this tour that I would be doing, that I would take out the phone and I would show audiences as a demonstration of the technology. I would go, look, you can turn the lights on and off in your house just by doing this. Not that that would give any entertainment value to any audience in the world, but just for me, over the course of like a 2-year tour, when I'm away from home a lot, just to know that there's a point every evening where my wife is winding her own business, sitting in the house, when all of the lights go on and off all over the house. Obviously, to compare this game, the same app, you could put anything electric, anything motorized. You could put the curtains in your bedroom onto the same app. As I found out last summer when I was lying in bed, sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, dream sleep. Oh, it's a huge dream. But, had to buy a unicorn. Because when you have to get a unicorn every so often, and you got to go down to the unicorn shop to get a new unicorn because your old unicorn, anyway. So I went down to the local unicorn shop, which is run by my old English teacher from school. I go, what are you doing here? Selling unicorns. And he was like in Hammersmith, but like not Hammersmith. And so I'm there going to the unicorn, and then we're talking about the whole thing, and then it got very bright in the unicorn shop, and I'm going, Jesus, the unicorns seem very uncomfortable with how bright it is, and they're blinking a lot. It's like, there's nothing more horrible than seeing a unicorn blink, and they're banging their horns off each other, and they generally seem very uncomfortable. I said to your man, geez, you keep this unicorn shop very bright. And he looks at me and goes, I don't, you big idiot. This is happening outside the dream. Wake up, wake up. And I woke up, and the room was flooded with light, because my wife on the train to work at 7:15 a.m. had taken out her phone and gone, time he got up. Bang. Right. So, this shit is escalating. I have now put heating and air conditioning onto the same app, so I can randomly plunge individual rooms into cold and dark, and then use Spotify to play children singing nursery rhymes from the basement. I did this once. And I came off stage and I had a phone call from my wife going, you seem to have forgotten that I was actually on call tonight, so I've actually been called into work. But I just had a text from the babysitter and she's shitting herself. I recently got one of those virtual reality sets into the house, with the mask and the whole... How many of you have done this yet? 1, 2, 7. It's amazing. It's genuinely stunning to me how few people have had a go on this, like whatever. It's genuinely stunning. You put the mask on your head. It's got 2 screens, independent screens. So therefore, everywhere you move, it's like perfectly realistic. You put the headphones in. It's like completely immersive. You're in a 360-degree in all direction, totally artificial world. It's genuinely stunning. I think it's going to change gaming. I think it's going to change movies. It is going to revolutionize burglary. It's just... You break into a house and somebody has that on their face, Jesus, relax, chill out, you've got an hour. They're not going to know you're there. There's no rush, you can choose what you want. I like that, but that'll work well in the hall. It's a different game, right? And the weird thing is, as you saw there, not everyone's having a go at this. This is a genuinely transformative entertainment technology, and not everyone is using VR, right? And one of the quiet reasons that no one's talking about it, the reason that people aren't using VR is because nobody's using it to watch porn. It seems like a weird thing to do, but in the kind of history of nerdy kind of things, porn is surprisingly important for getting new technology accepted. Porn is the reason why Blu-ray beat the other kind of special DVD in their race a few years ago. Porn is the reason that sometimes video streaming software beat other kinds of video streaming software. The stuff that gets used for porn has a place immediately in the market, right? And nobody is using VR for porn, right? And I'm not naive, right? I know that men are visual creatures, but I can kind of see, you know, no man, while actually making love, has ever there been going, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God, honey, this is amazing. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Let me just have a quick look around the flat. Oh, that's fantastic, Jim. Oh, that's amazing. Jesus, huge. Is that Corner Sing original now, or did you have a funny day? But the main reason that people aren't using VR for porn is because you cannot be entirely sure that she's out for the afternoon. And I mean 100% sure, because the stakes are really high. You do not look good in this situation. You do not need your loved one going, oh, I've left my credit card, I better go back in. What is this you're doing to yourself? Yes, I was bringing the kids to my mother's house, but the little one fell in. We've had to come home. But Jesus, this is what greets us. The nightmare is you finish the wank of the century, you take off the mask, and there are 3 police officers just staring at you. Going, do you have no idea what's been happening for the last while? Somebody broke into your house. They were spotted, we were called, there's been a standoff. You've been a hostage for 45 minutes. We've had to close off your road. Sky News have a helicopter slowly circling overhead. Your wife is outside on a megaphone going, stay strong, John, stay strong. And all the time, we've been watching you on the thermal imaging. Just battering away at yourself.